When Neil and Betty were born, a gallon of gas cost 21 cents, and a postage stamp was 2 cents. Neil was born 2 years before the beginning of the Great Depression. Betty was born 4 years later, right in the middle of it. About 20 years later, they were married, and about 90 years later, they were proud to celebrate their 70th anniversary. I'd like to point out a few things about the picture at the bottom there. They were in assisted living in the middle of the 2020 pandemic, but there was a bouquet of flowers on the table, and there was a card in front of each one of them to exchange. Susan had managed to get those things into them, along with a cake and the cards you see there from their friends, with enough quarantine time for them to be there on that important date. It's just one small example of the many, many things that Susan and Phil did to care for them in their final years and months. Thank you, Sue, so much. We're all in debt to you. Betty's parents came to the U.S. directly from Northern Ireland. Most of Neil's ancestors had come here generations earlier from Scotland, with one coming from England. After landing on Ellis Island in 1921, Betty's parents settled in Boston. Neil's family was from Maine. His father and oldest sister, Ruthie, pictured here, passed away before he was born. Neil never saw his father. But between Ruthie and Neil, 4 other siblings had been born. So while Betty was an only child, Neil grew up in a family of 5 children. Family was always important on both sides. You'll see in these photos that through the ups and downs, reunions were always prioritized. Betty's dad was part of the Dogs for Defense program during World War II, and she always loved dogs. She attended Girls Latin School in Boston, where she was a class vice president and valedictorian. Being a counselor at Camp Avalon was important to her, and she made lifelong friends there. Neil attended Thornton Academy in Saco, Maine, with his brothers and his sisters. He was an excellent student and active in sports. Neil began collecting stamps when he was 5 years old and didn't stop until age 90. In 85 years, he put 250,000 stamps into albums and had another 2 million stamps in boxes. We found out when he sold it that it may have been among the top 25 largest private collections in the world. They met when Betty took a summer job at the Colonial Inn in Ogunquit, Maine. Neil was working there too because the inn was owned by his extended family. Their romance began with walks along the nearby Marginal Way. Neil escorted Betty to her senior prom in Boston, and they were married on Betty's birthday, June 7th, 1950.
Grand earth has quaked before, moved by the sound of his voice, and seas that are shaken and stirred can be calmed and broken for my regard. And through it all, my eyes are on you. And through it all, it is well. And through it all, my eyes are on you. And it is well with me. And far be it from me to not believe mountain that's in front of me will be thrown into the midst of the sea. And through it all, my eyes are on you. And through it all, it is well. And through it all, my eyes are on you, and it is well. It is well. So let go, my soul, and trust in Him. The waves and wind still know His name. So let go, my soul, and trust in Him. The waves and wind still know His name. So let go, my soul, and trust in Him. The waves and wind still know His name. The waves and wind still know His name. And it is well with my soul. Sing it out. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well. It is well with my soul. Sing it out. It is well. Oh, it is well. It is well with my soul. Because of who you are, Lord. Oh, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well. It is well with my soul. Sing it out. It is well. It is well. It is well with my soul. It is well. And through it all, my eyes are on you. And through it all, it is well, Lord. And through it all, my eyes are on you, and it is well with me.
We were able to ask Neil and Bette what they'd like to be remembered for. Bette was too modest to answer, But Dad said he could not have done better when he married her. He said she was the consummate mother. She really lived a Christian life the way it should be. And she was a true and loyal friend. 100 well-wishing cards and emails testify to this. The messages were heartwarming. My best friend for years, my mentor and rock, role models. They were loved widely. Charles Seguin was a frequent house guest. They donated to his school in Cameroon and funded a well there at a time when their life savings were meager and their future earnings prospects were nil. The most touching message of all came from that village. This is Beatrice of Mission School of Hope. Please, how is Mom Bette? We are praying for her. We love her so much. Please greet Dad Neil for us. We all at Mission School of Hope hold him close in our thoughts and prayers. Mom Bette is about to go where she has always desired to be, right there in the arms of the Lord. But this is hard for us, very hard. She is more than a mother to us here in Cameroon. Thank you so much. They gave us drinking water on our first campus. They gave us life. They are our heroes. They have done so much for us.